Hi everyone and welcome back to our first session of Higher Admin after the Christmas break. I hope you have all done well and I hope you're all hearing this okay with a few issues. So going forward, if there's any PowerPoints or theory information, I am going to do it like this. I will put the PowerPoint together. I will record myself talking over it, explaining points a little further in more detail for you. And hopefully it's a lot easier than just you having to sit there and read through slides. I will always put up the PowerPoint onto Teams as well as signposting you to where this video recording is, because I know some people would prefer to just read the slides themselves. But I have had feedback that this seems a lot easier for people. They'd prefer to just sit and listen and watch a video than have to read through it themselves. So starting off today, I'm going to go a wee bit through the topics that we need to cover again for theory. So I'm going to go right back to the start again just to ease ourselves into it. So first off, we are going to go right back to the start and have a look at the role of the administrative assistant and look at the skills and qualities that are needed for this job. So Unit 1, Outcome 1.1 is the role of the admin assistant. Both roles of the admin and the senior admin assistants are virtually the same. There's very little differences between the both of them. In fairness, it does end up coming down to your pay grade at the end of the day, and who's probably been there longer will be regarded as the senior admin assistant, and you'll usually get paid more. But the senior admin assistant typically does take on more responsibility, so it would be their name that would get put on the final draft of a report, for example, and if there was an error or something wrong, it would come back to them to get it fixed. Both are likely to work with office software, so your word processing, databases, spreadsheets, presentations, and email programs, everything that we do every day in admin. The training of new staff may also be the duty of both. However, there are certain responsibilities that distinguish one from the other. So what are their different roles? The admin assistant will carry out routine tasks delegated by the senior admin assistant. So the senior will be the one in charge who gives everybody their daily jobs, and all the admin assistants will follow them. The admin assistant will also enter and update business data into a database or a spreadsheet, so really kind of monotonous tasks that probably will take quite a long time will be given to the admin assistant. They'll have to maintain all the documents and files, make sure they're all in the correct order, things are easy to find. They will assist with scheduling meetings, they'll send emails to colleagues, they'll prepare any documentation for meetings, so if say a report or a document needs to get printed off for everyone to have a look at, they will organise that, make sure there's enough for every person who's going to the meeting. They might also be the one that greets any visitors and directs them to where they need to go when they first enter into the building, and they'll also deal with answering incoming calls and connecting them to the correct people. Your senior admin assistant, they assist management and decision making, so deciding on maybe new resources for the office. They're the ones that know the office inside out. They'll make sure all those resources are available for all staff and probably give training on them as well. It might be that the senior admin assistant is giving the authority to supervise other staff in the office, so making sure lower down admin assistants, making sure their tasks and their jobs are done correctly, maybe checking some of their work. They'll often prepare the reports and presentations for managers to use and delegate these tasks to an admin assistant. So they'll put together the report or the presentation, or they'll put a plan in place at least, what needs to be in that presentation, and they'll tell the admin assistant what to do to put it together and make it. They are also responsible for managing the daily schedule and setting up for more of the high level managers. They're also almost like personal assistants. They make sure their day runs smoothly. And they are responsible for identifying any problems or identifying solutions to problems as well. So if some sort of problem arises, it should be them that is coming up with the solution to fix it. Let's have a look at skills and qualities of a senior admin assistant now. Now, Yes, this is described as a senior admin assistant, but you would never get a question where you need to differentiate between skills and qualities of a senior admin assistant and just a regular admin assistant. It's the same thing. And don't forget, a skill is something that you can learn and develop and work on over time, whereas your quality is part of your personality, it's part of who you are, so there's not really much you can do about changing that. So your skills could be you've got organisation skills to ensure that your targets are met, high level of digital literacy and IT skills, coaching, mentoring, developing skills to provide support for staff, so making sure you can encourage people, get them to work more efficiently, quickly. You should also have delegation skills to allocate tasks fairly, so make sure you're not piling up too much work on one person compared to another. You need to have good time management to ensure deadlines are met. Your communication skills also need to be great as well, so you can communicate with all levels of people, not just higher up bosses. You can communicate to just interns who have just started in the company. Your qualities are you've got patience to be able to work with other staff. You've got tact or discretion when dealing with sensitive situations. So if an employee is going through a difficult time, they're needing time off for things, then you're going to be discreet about that situation and not making sure everyone in the office knows about it. You want to be motivated in order to encourage staff to meet targets, so make sure you've got a bit of an upbeat personality. Supportive and approachable attitude is needed to help lead a team, so you can't just be barking orders at people all the time. You need to be able to encourage people to work as well. You also want to be quite a decisive person, so you can reach conclusions quickly and therefore you're going to save time. You're not debating on whether or not to do something. And also being an honest, trustworthy person when dealing with any sort of sensitive matters or information. You're not about to go spill somebody's secrets at the cafe when you're having your cup of tea at lunchtime. Our next theory topic that we are going to recap and revise today is time and task management. So we're going to go over planning, targets, action plans, your priorities, stuff that can actually take time away from you, your time stealers, and your benefits of having good time management, and also the costs of having bad time management as well. So time management is a very important skill for all employees. Many employees find themselves frustrated with their workload, and this often leads to stress as they try to catch up on tasks that they have not managed to complete. The skills that are required for effective time management, time and task. Planning. Employees must plan the use of their time and resources. There are many tools available to do this, from simple daily to-do lists to more long-term action plans or development plans. You can get really detailed. They could be as simple as the slide says, you've just written out your to-do list for the day, or you could have a timed calendar that's going to go through your tasks, give you off notifications to say when you should be moving on to the next one, things like that. You've got to be able to prioritise. So employees must be able to decide which tasks are more important and should be carried out first, and which ones are less important so they can be completed later in the day or that week. So you really need to take care of the ones that are urgent to your daily workload that day, or ones that are going to take up a lot of time, so you want to make sure you get them started early, maybe take a break from them, go back to it again. You need to be on the ball enough with your workload that you can decide which tasks need to be started quicker rather than others. And it should probably go without saying that you need to be organised so your time and task management is of high quality. Employees should look ahead to identify future tasks that will be required to be undertaken. You will also need to be quite an assertive person if you want to take on a role like this. Employees need to be able to say no when they've taken on too much work. So especially when you are the admin assistant in a job or in an office, you can almost get pulled on by a lot of different employees, and they might be asking you to do a lot of little minor jobs, and that can easily build up on your workday. So you need to learn to say, well, look, I'll maybe not be able to do it this week. Can I get back to you later on? Things like that. You can't always do everything for everyone. You also want to be able to negotiate as an admin assistant, so employees must show confidence and be able to negotiate revised deadlines and request additional resources when necessary. You might be given a lot of tasks to do, but you really just don't have the IT equipment to get them completed. So you want to maybe go back to your boss and say, look, you'd love to be able to get this work done, but you really need a new set of laptops for your team. You need a new set of monitors, something that you can negotiate with and say, we'll get this done by this deadline. However, we'll need to take a break from another task, something like that. So you need to be able to talk to your boss and work around a schedule that suits both of you. You also need to be into control, so employees must exercise control by keeping calm and tackling tasks in order of priority. Having a big meltdown at your desk, it happens. It's happened to many people. It's probably happened to all of you with some sort of work life from school, some sort of task or question you've been set by someone. It might have even been me, but you have to be able to keep cool and calm under pressure and try and not let things get too much on top of you, because that's where you start to get unwell, stressed out, and you might need to take some sort of leave of absence from your work, and nobody wants that. Employees should review and evaluate all the work undertaken, identify any causes of problems, and implement strategies that will lead to the improvement of them. So you want to be able to look back on what you have done in the day, and if you did come across any sort of problems, what could you have done to fix them? What can you do in the future to prevent them happening again? And really be able to give yourself constructive criticism. If you've had a really good productive work day, make sure you can tell yourself that and give yourself a break that night going home. Employees must ensure efficient use of all resources as well, including staff, time and equipment. Make sure if there is certain pieces of machinery or equipment in an office that everyone's getting a fair enough chance to use them, everyone's got access to it, everyone has training on how to use the equipment as well. Some employees will be required to direct other employees to get the work done. This will involve leadership, communication, motivation and delegation. This is probably more likely from the senior admin assistant. They will need to direct newer employees on how to do the basics of their job to then build up to be on the same level as them. Now, effective time and task management will bring benefits to both the individual and the organisation. Poor time and task management, on the other hand, will have a negative impact on both the individual employee and the organisation. Effects of poor time and task management. Staff can become stressed, and this can in turn lead to absences from work. A decrease in morale and job satisfaction, leading to high rates of absenteeism and staff turnover, which in turn causes increased recruitment and training costs. So if you're having a lot of staff going off ill because they're stressed, they're not doing as well in their job as they would have hoped, people might have to leave their job, but then you're going to have to spend money training new people, interviewing more staff. And there'll also be a reduction in productivity as the work's not going to be produced as efficiently or to their current standard. It might actually halt production altogether. You'll also end up with poor working relationships with colleagues and management, so people won't have a good rapport with their colleagues in the workplace. They'll find it difficult to talk to each other, and it'll become a very negative space to want to go to every day. And if you've got poor customer relations, you can't really speak directly to clients or customers, it's going to increase your customer complaints as well. Benefits of good time and task management, however, you're going to lower the stress levels, which will reduce staff absences, improve morale and job satisfaction for employees, leading to a reduction in staff absenteeism and staff turnover, which in turn will reduce your recruitment and training costs. You're going to have an increased productivity and an improvement in the quality of the work that's produced. You'll have improved working relationship with colleagues and management. People will be happy to be in their work. They'll be looking forward to seeing their work colleagues. And if you've got good customer relations, and targets and deadlines are going to likely to be met, you're going to achieve your goal at the end of the day. Our last bit of theory that we're going to have a look at today and go over again is your effective team working. So the size of the team, attitude, shared goals, leadership, how a team's made up, different personalities, the personality traits that are described by the philosopher Belbin, team member skills, leadership, conflict resolution, listening skills, etc., and benefits of teams to the individuals as well. So, features of an effective team is the team composition, so how it's made up, personality, interests, age, backgrounds. Having a wide variety of all these will hopefully put together a great team. But alternatively, having groups of people who have all the same sorts of personality, interests, age and backgrounds can work as well, or they can clash. Team development, once your values are agreed upon, the group will pull it together. So once you decide on what your main goal is, you're going to all work together, build upon that to get there. The nature of the task, so it needs to be clear. Belief in the task that you as a team can do it. Make sure you've got the correct resources allocated to you. So remember, we did our paper chain task. We had to make sure we had all the correct materials. We had to believe that they could do it as a group. We had to understand exactly what was being asked of us. Team maintenance and environment, so that could include virtual teams. So right now, we as a class are all working as a virtual team. We're all working at home individually. So we really need to make sure that this works well for us. We need to make sure we all continue to stay in communication and talking. Leadership as well, so making sure you've got an effective leader. Not all teams will have a leader. You're quite happy to all work together individually and pull it together at the end as a group, but most teams will naturally end up with someone who takes the lead and who will talk through the tasks themselves, who will want to make sure that the work is getting done. They'll check up on other people in the team as well. You want to have open and transparent communication, so you're going to value other members' contributions, allow all to express themselves, enable new ideas to be brought in. Having a good mix of skills and personalities, so being responsible for the tasks allocated, helpful and supportive to other members leads to better productivity, so not making sure half the team are all working on one little task while the other half are doing 10 different things by themselves. You want to make sure there's a good split of job roles. Having shared knowledge and skills will allow the work to progress smoothly in times of absence, so making sure everyone in your team, if somebody is ill or can't attend, then they can pick up their job as well. Making sure that there's good training available, so it's going to give you confidence in your ability if you have had the proper training to do the job. And making sure you've got a clear purpose or goal will give you all a common direction to head towards. An effective leader needs to have good communication skills, either it being verbal or written, be able to analyse problems, can build trust and relationships, know the importance of delegation, will listen to all ideas of the group, will be able to motivate others effectively, can influence others towards a shared goal, has the knowledge to deploy team skills, has a clear thought process behind what they want and how they want to achieve the end goal, and they want to minimise conflict as much as possible. So if they can see other people in the team aren't pulling their weight or aren't working as well as together as they'd hoped, they should be able to sort the problems within their team. Poor leadership, however, so the team will be unclear, there'll be resources wasted and the job won't get done properly. There'll be low motivation within the team. It'll take longer to complete the job in the end, and there'll be low morale and probably quite high staff turnover as well. It's going to be unlikely to work under pressure, so the group will probably end up crumbling if they've not got a clear leader taking them forwards. People will suffer stress and they won't be able to sustain a standard of work that maybe the company are used to. So different skills that your team members could have could be that you've got motivational people to other people in your teams, people that will keep encouraging to keep going even when you're starting to slow down a bit. Making you're supportive of other team members, you've got a team for the team goal at the end of the day. Be able to put personal disputes aside. So if you know you don't get on with somebody, you can ignore it for that time, just get the job done. Don't take any of your personal problems into the workplace. Be willing to learn and develop. So be willing to take on additional responsibility, leadership of projects, openness to learn skills from other team members. If you listen to your other team members, you might end up finding quicker ways to do jobs. You might learn something new, or you might be able to pass on your own wisdom to someone else as well. Be able to listen to members' ideas and views. They should be able to communicate both verbally and in writing effectively. So other members of the team will be able to understand what it is each member of the team is doing. Making sure you're organised, hardworking, creative, and also being calm, patient, but as well trying to be enthusiastic about the job at hand as too. So the philosopher Belbin set out different team roles that should always be a part of any group or team who are trying to have a shared goal or end project that they're working on. Now, these roles could end up being done by more than one person. If you've got a smaller team, obviously, you could end up having one person having a few of these roles. So you want to make sure that somebody is the specialist, so they have the knowledge and the skills that really goes in depth into the task that you're doing. An ideas person, so being creative, imaginative, solving problems. The motivator, the drive and the courage to overcome obstacles. Having an organiser, so they'll clarify the goals, make decisions, delegate jobs well. The implementer, so the doer, as you like, could turn ideas into actions, so they will listen to the group's ideas and hopefully come up with a solution to actually get those ideas completed or started. The checker will monitor and evaluate all the way through, so they'll keep making sure that we're on task, doing what we need to be doing. The finisher will make sure that we deliver it on time, make sure it's all done, fully completed, and we get it to whatever assignment it needs to be finished for. And the go-getter, or the doer, will develop contacts and explore opportunities. They might see what way can we make this better, trying to get out there, talk to other people. And you'll also have the team player, so they'll listen to others and they'll hopefully try and avert any conflict. They will keep the team going no matter what. So your benefits of team working, so benefits to the individual, you're going to have a sense of belonging and value, you're part of a group, you're going to share your knowledge and skills, therefore any sort of maybe promotion prospects out there, you're going to end up developing skills so you can put that on your CV. You'll hopefully have increased motivation and morale. It'll boost you working with others who are like-minded like you to get a job done. You'll be more likely to take risks as it's shared over the group. So if you think a task is a bit risky, because you're approaching it as a group, you've got more people working on it, so it should work. And you'll also have promotion opportunities after working with a mix of different skills as well. So you can say you've had experience working with others, experience working with certain groups of people, things like that. You'll also feel more organised, you'll be multi-skilled and have a flexible workforce. Your employees should take on more responsibilities, so they'll need less supervision, they can just carry on with tasks themselves. Specialisation and division of labour into different project areas, so you'll be more involved and be able to pick up jobs in specific areas because you've had experience in a variety of different employees. The risks undertaken successfully are of huge benefit. So if you decide to take a big risk and it pays off, then it's going to be a big benefit to you. It's going to look good on you. You're going to have increased competitiveness. You'll want to work harder, want to do things in groups more often. Higher productivity, and you'll also be a bit more used to creating ideas, throwing ideas out there to a different group of people. However, it can come up with a lot of team conflict as well. A lot of people don't like working in teams and prefer to get the job done themselves. So you can have conflicting goals, so two members of the team want to go in two different directions. How do you sort that? There could be personal disputes, so people bring personal problems into it, and there's always people who will not get on. There might be a lack of resources, so not being able to put all your ideas into action. It might be due to money, staff, or equipment. There'll also be changing expectations. Last minute, your manager could come to you and go, look, the client actually wants it to be done a different way, and you pretty much need to scrap all the hard work that you've done. There will be loyalty issues affected by the relationships between members of the team, people if they are not working together, or if you have got a team that prefer a different team leader to you, they might not work as hard for you. Leadership is a leader who influences others towards the achievement of goals. A good leader will motivate people to willingly work towards their goals, even if it's something that they might not agree themselves. A leader will set a clear vision of goals for the team. They'll plan, organise and monitor progress. They'll meet the needs of the team, so provide all the information that they need to communicate ideas, communicate information to the team. They will meet the needs of the individuals, so providing the correct support, the correct training, making sure all the members of the team know what they should be doing. Meet the needs of the tasks, so making sure you've got the right team skills in there, the right resources to do the task. A leader will also liaise between the team, the management and any other work areas. They will let others know how they're getting on, if they need help. And they'll also evaluate their group's work as well, so they'll be able to reflect on how they worked as a group and hopefully improve it for the future. A leader should be able to build trust and relationships within the team, be able to delegate effectively, keep conflict to a minimum, motivate and influence others towards their achievements of goals, and analyse any problems and seek solutions, so listen to others and their ideas as well. So there's different styles of leadership. You can have an autocratic style of leadership. This type of leader takes decisions without consultation, has very little regard for thoughts and opinions of other colleagues or the workforce, usually found in more kind of traditional organisations. So it's very much their way or no way, essentially. So if you don't follow their rules, then you're probably out. There is the laissez-faire. I hope I'm saying that right. This is the let it be approach. So the leader who prefers the workforce to take their own decisions. This type of leadership can be useful in business where it's more creative and the ideas are important, but it relies heavily on a good teamwork. So more of a kind of creative, arty type of business will rely on their workforce to make the decision themselves. It will make employees feel really empowered because they're making the decisions, they're in charge, they're being involved, but you have to make sure you've got a really good team for that, so you've got full confidence in them that they will make good decisions. And you've also got the democratic type of leader as well. So this type of leader is much more likely to be consultative and to encourage participation in decision making. So they will make sure everyone has a say, has a vote, make sure everyone's happy, and ensure everyone is working to an agreed form or an agreed statement. They will make sure everyone is doing it on fair terms. So folks, now that we've talked about the roles of an admin assistant, your time and task management and your effective team working, you can now go on to the assignment on Teams that has been set up for Monday and complete the theory questions that I've set out there for you on the following topics that we've just talked about. So if you can complete those questions, and then Wednesday we will have a look at the IT side of things.